Why is financial literacy so poor?
It's just not taught itself. Like, your whole education system is built around trying to build your career, generate an income, figure out how to make money, but no one ever tells you what to do once you have it. My mission is a very simple one. It's to get people better with money.
Gabriel has amassed a following of over 1.3 million users on TikTok sharing his best money tips.
Life just gets more and more expensive. It's not a feeling, it's a fact. Like, if I could tattoo something on my head, it would be this piece of advice. And it's,
what is the biggest mistake people are making with their finances?
so when someone looks at me and they goes, I'm bad with money. No, you're not. Like, you're not bad with money. You just haven't put in the practice over a long enough period of time to transform it into a way that's good. You never taught it, so I get it.
What are 3 actionable insights people can take right now to start getting a hold of their finances?
I wish I could give you 23. I'm sorry. We'll keep it 3 so you can kind of actually take action off the back of listening to this. The very first thing I'm going to tell you to do right now is open up your bank account or every place that you spend money and just look at it. One of the biggest issues people have is they do not look. The second thing is,
hi guys, welcome to another episode of What My Best Friend Does, where we talk to best friends in the hope of inspiring you to take action. Guys, today we have a special episode. I am joined by the money guy, Gabriel Nussbaum. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Excited to have this conversation. When I was thinking about where I wanted to start, I think there's only one place I can start. Like, what is your mission as the money guy?
Great question. My mission is a very simple one.
Yeah.
It's to get people better with money. I can dive into all the different nuances there, but that is it. That's my only goal.
Get people better with money. Well, before we get into that, let's take it way back, right? Because you're now the money guy. You got 1.3 million followers on TikTok, crazy. Another 155,000 on Instagram. They're the only 2 I checked. That's all I know.
They're the big ones. You're good.
But yeah, like, you've built an amazing audience. But how did we get to that point? So yeah, can you take us back? Like, what were you doing before? And like, have you always been interested in finance, and have you always been literate?
Yes, so I've always had this interest in money and financial education. I was always the guy that my mates were asking, like, what savings account? My family would even ask, who are you opening your accounts with at the moment? But I wouldn't say I was like brilliant with money. I was just kind of like on it, if that makes sense. But never did I think it would lead to where it is today, where my entire personality is basically teaching financial education. So to give a very quick background onto like what happened beforehand, like, I studied engineering at uni. Mechanical engineer here. Didn't want to go into it after a few internships, so I decided to actually go and work at Barclays for a graduate scheme. I say I decided, 45 graduate applications later, and there were like 3 that come back to you and like give you a chance. So anyway, luckily Barclays was one of the ones I really wanted to go for, and I actually went and started a corporate grad scheme there. But to kind of give you like a timeline, at the same time as I was finishing uni, I started to become really interested in the world of digital education. Mm-hmm. The idea of like teaching through YouTube, it was basically just YouTube. That was the only real social media platform back when I was watching. And I loved consuming it. And eventually got to the point where I was like, I would love to create this. Yeah. I would love to teach the things that I'm learning. I was interested in, personal development, in financial education, fitness, reading, all that kind of stuff, careers, graduate schemes. So I started a little YouTube channel.
Okay.
The minute I left uni, I thought, I've got time for this now. And perfect timing, lockdown hit. I've got even more time for this now. Yeah. So I started Barclays, and I was just doing this little thing on the side. And as I was doing this for about 6 months, I decided to kind of really understand that I wanted to talk about one topic. And it became more and more apparent that I was reading and trying to teach myself so much about money, because this was the first time earning money like properly in my life. I had a full-time job. I was already kind of good at it. It was coming through into all of these little YouTube videos that I was making. And so eventually I decided, like, I want to dive deeper into teaching this world of financial education because it's so undertaught. And so I started to switch that up at the same time that someone told me about this platform called TikTok that apparently was getting all the hype. Yeah. So I was like, it's all for like people dancing and singing and skits. And so I was like, no, just give it a go. And I was like, you know what? I'm doing these 10-minute video edits. Great if I can break this down to 30 seconds. It saves me so much time in the editing process. So I gave it a go and just decided I'm going to really lean into this financial education side of things. And it took off almost instantaneously. I'm talking like video number 10 went viral. And essentially I was like, okay, I found the right format. I really want to talk about financial education. I was still consuming so much education on that side as well. And this was now in like early 2021. And that pretty much is what kicked off the entire journey of me becoming that money guy, like the money guy. Like it all stems from someone saying, have you tried TikTok? And I'm like, sure, why not?
I love it. So many questions just based on that little bit. My first one is, were you having success on YouTube before you made the change to TikTok?
YouTube is a very slow grind of a platform.
So slow.
Yeah. So I was having success in the fact that I was having fun. I was learning new skills. People are like, so you're getting no views, mate. Do you know what? My first ever video has like 10,000 views. So like that's pretty good. But it was like steady growth. It was slow growth. It wasn't virality. Like my best videos were getting maybe like 3,000 or 4,000 views. My average ones were getting like 400 or 500 views. But you were seeing the numbers tick upwards. And I was really focused on this idea that like, I knew the business implications down the line of, growing a personal brand and all that kind of stuff. But for me, it was just about do one thing, get 1% better with every single video and just slow and steady growth. And I was seeing that and I was enjoying the process and I was planning to stick around and just do it for as long as I physically could.
Okay.
Didn't need to have the results come back to me. So the answer is yeah, but like no.
Yeah, but it was slow. And then obviously things start to take off. You're doing the grad scheme.
Yeah.
Like, what tips the decision for you? Like, is there a significant moment where you're like, look, Barclays, cheers for the grad scheme, cheers for the cap and the mug. I'm about to go make my content now. Was there a specific moment where you knew, okay, I can make this into a full-time career?
So it was a 2-year graduate scheme, and about a year in, content was flying. I started to get, my first ever brand deals and things like that. And maybe like a year to a year and a half in, I started to think more seriously, like, I've got something here. I'm onto something here. I'm building a business, and off the back of it. So I think about a year and a half was the point at which I knew. A year is kind of when it took off, and a year and a half is kind of like in that 6-month window, I decided that this is what I really wanted to do full time. Mm-hmm. But I saw out the whole graduate scheme. So I stayed there for the full 2 years because I was really enjoying my time at Barclays.
Yeah.
Like, it was good fun. I liked the culture. I liked the work. And, a lot of kids say they kind of grew up knowing they wanted to be a YouTuber. They always had a camera in their hand. It wasn't really me. A lot of kids say they knew they wanted to be an entrepreneur. They were selling sweets in the playground. Again, wasn't really me. Like, I did the university degree. I did the masters. I got the corporate grad scheme. That was my path. Yeah. That's the only path that I was really aware of. And so you can understand like that at that 2-year point being, I think I was 24, turning 25 or something like that. It was a hard decision. I knew there was so much potential here and like I was earning and all that kind of stuff, but I also knew that like this was a career that I wanted to build. And so a lot of back and forth, but ultimately I decided that I was in my mid-20s and it was too stupid to not take the risk at this age.
I love it. And just to paint the picture, like when you're leaving the grad scheme, like how many followers like do you have when you're thinking I'm going to go it alone?
On other platforms, probably none, but on TikTok, I probably had just got to 1 million.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that makes the landing a little softer.
It was all right.
and the reason I'm asking that, like, for anybody, you mentioned there, like, they've always known that they want to be a YouTuber or an entrepreneur. For people who are trying to make that decision on, is this for me? Like, what are the considerations that they should be thinking about before like making it their full-time thing?
Yeah, so I just went straight into my brain of like, classic engineer, what are the risks? Like, what are the risks? And for me, it was, what income level am I bringing in at the moment? So can I foresee a bit of, cash flow projection? Are we doing well? Like, is that kind of happening? If I quit my job, is there more I can do? So like, am I already at full capacity? Am I where I want it to be? Like, is quitting the job basically just giving me back time to do nothing with? It had to be a logical decision. And then also, what's my emergency fund? And I'm sure we'll come on to this in the financial like advice and stuff like that. But like, if I didn't earn another penny, how long could I run this for and really give it a proper shot? And for me, I had to have at least a year runway.
Oh, wow.
Because a year felt like if I put my teeth into this for a year, full time, all of my like energy, and it doesn't work, then fine. At least I really gave it a shot. And for like, I needed to have the financial security to be able to do that. So I kind of put those three decisions, those three factors together for myself to realize, yeah, I'm going to launch this full time. But the only kind of risk that people don't tell you about, I guess, when you're trying to turn a passion into a full-time career is that when you are doing something for passion and earning a bit of money from it, it's a lot of fun. Like everything is basically fun because it's optional. You've got your career as well. But when it becomes your full-time job and you need to earn money through it, sometimes it can destroy your passion. So that was another kind of conversation you have to have with yourself. Like, are you okay needing to earn money through your passion now? Because you might fall out of love with it. But luckily for me, don't get me wrong, there are areas of it I absolutely hate and I avoid, and you can always outsource those elements. But overall, I love it. It's the best decision I've ever made.
I love it. And then just finally, like you mentioned, you loved your job at Barclays, right? Like, how were they? And like, how was it going into work? Like, there he goes, the guy with 1 million followers. Like, did you get a lot of banter? And like, how were you managing your full-time work? You mentioned wanting to make the most of your time. Like, was it just taking up all of your evenings? Like, what was the balance like?
So in terms of like the response from Barclays, the other graduates were the first ones to find out. As you can imagine, they're the ones on the apps. And I think one of them put it in like the WhatsApp chat being like, Gabriel, is this you?
Yeah.
Like, I think I'm just, which means God knows how long they've been talking about it behind my back before they kind of approached me. So they were all laughing. They were enjoying it. They were like finding it quite impressive. I remember though, the day that like my boss's boss tapped me on the shoulder and went, Gabriel, if I see one more advert, because I think I was doing some brand deals at the time. No, my actual boss, I remember, did say, like, if I see one more, I'm going to report you. And I was like, wait, what? And he's like, I'm just playing with you. But yeah, I started to get a bit of recognition from like senior leadership. People were saying, oh, this is really cool that you're doing it. So a lot of good support internally. So yeah, that was funny when there's kind of two worlds collided. And then in terms of like how I managed working and this, well, firstly, I had like lockdown, which meant that, you know, a lot of more time essentially to myself.
You're not commuting to work.
And Barclays had a good culture as well. So at 5 o'clock on a graduate scheme, they're telling you, shut your laptop, you're done for the day. So I had that whole evening period. But, you know, I'm not going to lie. There were some meetings that were on mute in the background and I'm like editing on my computer on the side doing that one.
We can say that now because you don't need the job back.
I'm sorry, Barclays. I will admit that I was doing a little bit of editing on, like a tiny.
If anyone from our work is watching, I'm doing no editing, all right? Because I'm still there. There's no editing. Nothing on mute.
Yeah, like it was a little bit like doing them side and side together. Of course, like, as I knew that I was going to leave, my attention started to turn more towards that. But I never like took my job for like, I took advantage of the job. I was always making sure that I was getting all the work done, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, weekends and evenings were like gone.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can actually resonate because yeah, my weekends, my evenings, got a wife who's expecting. I don't know how I'm going to juggle it all, but yeah, we're going to make it work.
Here you are right now.
But look, so that's the background and I love it. But yeah, obviously we're here because you talk all about money. And when I was researching this episode, there were some stats that blew my mind. But the one that jumped out to me, 44% of adults have poor financial literacy, which is like mental. And then there's other stats like, I think like 2/3 of the population have less than £1,000 saved or something crazy. Like, why is this, is my first question. Like, why is financial literacy so poor?
It's just not taught. It's as simple as that. Like, think back to your youth, and if you are someone that got a formal financial education in school or somewhere like that, you are one of a very small minority. Because unfortunately, like, teachers, I'm not putting them down, they're not equipped to teach it. I mean, if teachers don't have good financial literacy themselves, like, you wouldn't expect an English teacher to teach maths, right? And so it's kind of this perpetual cycle where it's not being taught, so it's not being learned by the next generation, so it's not being taught. You might be lucky and have a bit of home education. Your parents might try and teach or impart some wisdom on you through their experiences, but they probably don't have a formal education in finances itself. Like, your whole education system is built around trying to build your career, generate an income, figure out how to make money, but no one ever tells you what to do once you have it. So that would be the biggest issue by far. And then it kind of, when you do start to earn money and you're trying to maybe learn it for yourself, like, money is hugely emotional. So a lot of people think that if they just get the maths right with money, if they just save the right percentages and allocate things in the right buckets and have the right spreadsheet, it will all work itself out. And that's, again, very few people are even thinking in that way. Yeah. But because money is so emotional, we do things like impulse spending. We rationalize decisions in our head. We live well above our means. We think that, that slight increase in paycheck means that we can all of a sudden afford to lease or get PCP on that really nice BMW you've had your eyes on for a while. Like, these are emotional decisions that we rationalize, which essentially mean that we're in a very, the country as a whole, and it's not just this country, like the entire world is in a very poor financial state. And I think it all stems back to education.
Okay, so I've got 2 questions there, as you've just said all that. One, are you saying that we should remove emotion from our financial decisions? And then second, how can we improve the education? Obviously, we've got people like yourself, but at a country level, what should, I've seen you at Downing Street, right? What should the government be doing to help improve financial literacy in the younger generation? And everyone, actually, not just young people.
Absolutely.
So I've really put you on the spot there.
So, no. I should be able to answer both. So from the emotional side of it, should we be removing emotion from financial decisions? No. It's impossible. I would love everyone to think logically when it comes to money. And I used to say, at the beginning of this journey, that money is 50-50. It's 50% maths, 50% emotion. The more I'm learning about it and the more I'm doing this kind of thing, I'm learning that it's probably more like 80-20, 90-10 in terms of the way that our emotions make our decisions rather than maths and logic. So should we remove our emotions? It's not even worth having the conversation because we just can't. All we can do is try and teach and educate ourselves as much as possible to manage our emotions, to create systems or habits slowly over a long period of time that eventually allow us to become better with money. And I'm sure we'll dive into a few of those. And when it comes to what can be done or what should be done differently to help financial education, there was a recent study done that says our financial habits are set as early as 7 years old.
Oh my goodness.
So from the age of 7, you more or less have digested enough about money from your environment, from your friends, probably from your parents, the way they act and deal with money. You might kind of be thinking whilst listening to this, my parents were really tight with money and I'm really tight with money. Probably because you learned that from a young age. You saw that, you went to a shop and you were like, oh, Mom, can I have that magazine? And they're like, no, we can't afford it. That gets built into your system straight away. And you think to yourself, oh, I can't afford it. Or it might go the other way and you'll think, I couldn't afford it then. So now I know I can afford that kind of stuff. And you spend and spend and spend and spend until there's nothing left because you couldn't afford it then. So you want to buy it now. It can go in pretty much any direction. So this is a really weird thing to say.
Say it.
I would love to be irrelevant. I would absolutely love it if we could create some kind of formal financial education, be it in primary school, secondary school, university, outside of the classroom, on a graduate scheme, in workplaces, whatever age it is. I know I said it as young as 7, but whatever age it is, that essentially makes someone like myself teaching it on social media completely null and void. You do not need me. No one needs to hear what I'm saying because everybody already knows it. That would be job done for me, and I'll go and find a different hobby and a different job and career.
Back to Barclays you go.
Exactly. Please have me back, guys. I swear I'll do work this time. I wasn't edited. However, I think that what's doing really well nicely is that financial education has never been more accessible.
Yeah.
So, of course, not everyone is going out looking for it, but at least through social media, people are getting it regardless. And my whole job is to knock over the first domino. I'm never going to teach you everything you need to know about the topic of money. There's so many things, but it's also really simple. I know there's a bit of an oxymoron there, but at least through things like social media, people can go out and go on YouTube and type in, how to learn how to budget, can download a spreadsheet, can start doing these things. It's never been more accessible. So we're definitely moving in the right direction. What can they do? What can the government do? Well, something formal, something formalized into any level of education, especially primary school. Something there would make massive, massive differences.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah,
Sorry,
of course, please.
I'm killing your flow. But do you feel like some of the lack of financial education is intentional? And what I mean by that, credit card companies, all of these big financial institutions, they kind of prey on people not having savings, taking out credit cards, taking out this loan, taking out that loan. Would they be shooting themselves in the foot if they were to educate us on being smart with our money?
There are definitely some companies that are incentivized around people not being good with money.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, credit card companies do not profit off me.
They used to profit off me, but not anymore.
There we go. Because if you pay your credit card off in full and it doesn't cost you to own the credit card, they don't make a penny on you. They literally don't make a penny on you. Okay, they make money in other ways, but the majority and a lot of the money that they make comes from people who don't know how to manage their credit, make minimum payments because they think that's absolutely fine, and are paying a ton of interest. Like the average interest rate on a credit card, I think, is something like 24%, which is crazy. Like a personal loan from a bank could probably be like a third of that, theoretically, if you've got a good credit score.
I read something that if people just pay the minimum on their credit card and it's like £1,000, it'll take them 27 years to pay it off because of the way the interest works.
Credit cards are a whole new ball game, but I always say to people, the only time you are ready to use a credit card is when you know you'll be paying off in full every month, no excuses. If you're not sure that you can do that, but you're like, oh, I want a credit card because of the points or because of the cash back and the rewards, not worth the plastic these things are printed on. If you're going to pay them off in full, they are brilliant. They are tools. You can get consumer protection, good credit scores, cashback, rewards, and you're not paying a penny in interest. But if you can't do that, avoid it like the plague. There are companies that prey on this, and there is definitely some level of interest to reduce financial literacy and reduce financial education. But I think we're actually getting to a bit of a turning point. I know this is very kind of specific and detailed, but there's this whole new legislation being looked into around how to get more people to invest in this country. This country does not invest their money. No. We're good savers, but like we save our money, we don't invest our money. And the research has been done. Why don't we invest our money? Because we don't know how to. We're not taught. There's a lack of education. And why do the government want us to invest our money? Because this country is struggling with things like growth. If more people are putting their money into the UK stock market, they allow, there's more funds available, which allows the countries to grow, to innovate. Innovation allows for trickle down and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to get into economics because it's not my strong suit at all. But what that is to say is that there should be incentive to teach people financial education.
And I think sometimes people are just scared. And one thing that comes down to lack of literacy, I'll just tell a quick story on this because I'm sure everybody has this friend out there. Like I've told people to open up stocks and shares ISA, like with like Moneybox, no ad. And like when it goes up, they're buzzing like, oh my God, 10%, 20%. As soon as it goes down like -3%, I need to take it out. And I think once again, that comes from like the lack of understanding, like these things go up and down, but they trend upwards and to the right. And I think, this is one of the reasons why people don't invest more than they should.
Emotion.
It is.
There you go. You were literally just showing me two huge ranges of emotions that come off the back of a financial thing that logically people might understand how it works. But the moment emotions start to interact, you make bad decisions with your money.
Emotions, man. And I don't know, we'll talk about offline. Okay. So people should invest, yes, because it helps their money grow. What are, free actionable insights people can take right now to start getting a hold of their finances?
3. I wish I could give you 23 people. I'm sorry. We'll keep it 3 so you can kind of actually take action off the back of listening to this. The very first thing I'm going to tell you to do right now is open up your bank account or every place that you spend money and just look at it. Scroll through. I don't care if it takes you an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Take a look at the last month of your spending. If you want to go into a deeper dive, look at the last 3 months and highlight every single thing you spend. Categorize it. Just learn about yourself, because one of the biggest issues people have is they do not look. They don't look for good reason. Because if you don't look, it never happens. Do you know what I mean? You can't be broke if you don't know you're broke. You can't be in your overdraft if you don't know you're in your overdraft.
That's facts.
But you can be, by the way. You can be in your overdraft if you don't look at your overdraft. Just putting that one out there. But when you look, something magical happens. And you start to realize that your spending has consequences and implications. And at first, it's like pulling off, like a plaster or a Band-Aid. It's painful at first and it's stressful, but it is the only way to get control. You need to kind of like turn on the lights, have a look, and a few things will happen. Number 1 is you will immediately notice areas of your spending, subscriptions, things coming out your bank account. You're like, why on earth did I spend £250 on Deliveroo last month? Like, how did that happen? And you'll immediately start to create better habits. be a bit more thoughtful with the way you're spending your money for going forward. The second thing is, somehow, this is just, I've never heard of this not happening for anyone. The moment you look at your spending and you're aware that you're going to look at next month's spending in a month from now, your spending will just drop dramatically because you know that someone, future you, is about to judge you. So every time you go out and you're thinking, oh, should I get that coffee? You know, the little things. And we'll get onto it because I think that you should still be allowed to go out and get your coffee. I'm not that financial guy that tells you to not have fun with your money and to not buy the things that make you happy. But you'll just be a bit more conscious, and all of a sudden, like, your money, your spending will drop and drop and drop and drop.
I love it.
Which is great. So that's number one. Number two is a bit more from like a philosophical perspective. This is like, if I could tattoo something on my head, it would be this piece of advice, and it's live within your means.
Louder for the people at the back.
Live within your means. Like, I would get that. I wouldn't get that tattooed anywhere. Maybe
Live,
like a
live, love, live within your means, or love, live,
love, live, live.
Yeah.
Live, love, laugh, live within your means.
Yeah.
And what that means, in case people don't understand, is that what we do is, if we're earning £1,000, we think we can live at £1,000 a month. If you go within £2,000 to £2,000, all of a sudden you think, oh, I can up the amount that I'm living by, which means nicer car, nicer place to live, nicer clothes, go out for more meals. And we all do this naturally. Like, even I do this. When I was 18 years old and I wasn't earning money and I wanted to go on holiday, I would look for the cheapest hostel in that place and stay there, living within my means. Yep. Today, I'm a married man. I'm, almost turning 30 soon. And I go on holiday with my wife. We're not staying in cheap hostels. You know what I mean? Because, we can afford a bit nicer and we want a bit nicer things as well in life. Yeah. So it is a natural progression that does come with life. It's understood. But the key here, and this is like, if I could teach you one thing in finance, it's this. Let's say you're earning £1,000 a month and your cost of living is £1,000 a month, and you somehow get like a £500 pay rise. I know, like, pulling numbers out of my, where, and you're on £1,500 a month. I'm fine if your living expenses and the cost of your life goes to £1,100, it goes to £1,200. Technically, I'm fine with it if your living costs go to £1,400, because, and I'm not telling you should go to £1,400, because the gap between what you're bringing in and what you're spending is starting to grow. And as you start to earn more, the amount that it costs you to live doesn't go up as fast. And basically that gap starts to grow and grow and grow and grow. And what you can do with that gap is hit long-term financial goals. Yeah. You can start to save towards that thing you've always wanted to save to. You can start to think longer term with your money. And all you've got to do is grow and grow and grow that gap. So yeah, next time you get that pay rise, maybe don't blow it all on the next holiday. Yeah. Go out for a nice meal. Celebrate. Enjoy it. Of course, have a good time.
Don't reactivate that subscription.
But don't reactivate that subscription. That is like financial gold if you can do that in life. That is the key to finances. But you asked me for 3, didn't you? So now I've got to come up with something that beats those first two. And this is going to be an interesting one. I would love for you listening right now, off the back of this, because I'm not going to teach you everything you need to know with the world of finance. I would just ask you to start doing one thing a week, a month, even a year, to improve your knowledge about money. Whether you care about money, you don't care about money, it's irrelevant. You have to understand what to do with it. I don't care if you're driven by it or not, because it affects it. Yeah, we all have to spend money. We all have to earn money to live life. If you don't, well done, you've hacked the system. But what that can look like in practicality is, go on YouTube right now and type in a question you've always been interested about. Go look up top 10 money podcasts and listen to one episode that you think might interest you. Just start building the habit of learning something new every period of time, and it will transform your life forever. If I give one recommendation, buy the book, The Psychology of Money. Oh yeah, Morgan Housel. Yeah. I don't know a single person at any level that has picked up that book and not come out 1,000 times better with their money. It's nothing practical. It's a little bit of practicality, but it's more about, again, we spoke about it before, emotions, psychology. Give that a read. I promise you, it will transform your relationship with money for the rest of your life, and you will never need to listen to a video by me ever again.
I love it. I've got a question on what you've just said. All right.
I know. I said I'm about to put
No. Sorry. I love it. I love it. I'm about to put my wife on a little bit of a blast here. My wife is one of those people. She's actually fantastic with money. Probably she's better than me with money. But she buries her head in the sand in the sense that she'll just put it in a savings account. She doesn't really know. She just knows that if I save it, it goes up. But she doesn't get the best interest rate. She just puts it in the account and it's growing. To those people who bury their head in the sand, can you just talk about the implication of not understanding what is going on with your money?
Yeah. So you're talking about someone who's already like, they're good. They built the saving habit, right? They're putting money away, but they're not like optimizing, right? So they just think that that's good enough. And firstly, you're already, that person is like, your wife is already ahead of 90% of people. The fact that she can put away savings on a regular basis and is doing that. But you do want to be starting to think about, that's like the next level now, right? You've done that part. You've got that part nailed down. So now you need to start learning about the different places to optimize your money, because there was a recent study done by Barclays, I think, and I don't want to butcher the number, so I might say it wrong, but it was either there's 400 million or 400 billion sat in accounts across the UK in saving accounts that should be doing they say that should be invested, essentially. That is sat there in these accounts, like basically gathering dust, losing value from inflation, not earning good interest rates. We're talking about masses in terms of the amount of money. And I like to kind of not overcomplicate things, but I like to split things into like 5 different places you should have your money. And then after that, you can start to like, tinker with them and split, one of those 5 into 3 different more. But to break it down to you, number 1 is like your current account, yeah? So you should have the money, that's where money flows into and out of. Simple as, it's not a place to store it. There'll be no interest rate, no perks to having money in that account. Paychecks probably go in there, bills probably come out from there, but we want to move the money out from there, essentially. The second place is an emergency fund. Everyone should have an emergency fund. This is like one of the most first things you should do with your money. And it is a pot of money there to basically get you out of jail. Not literally, unless you need to, call bail. That kind of stuff. Yeah, it might need to in some cases. But it's like that backup factor. You think your job's secure? Well, maybe not. Maybe you're going to lose your job. And what will you do if you don't have any money? Your car breaks down and you've literally got nothing in your saving accounts. What are you going to do? You need a car to get to work, maybe. Average things they say around it is 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses put away in a account that you can access like that if you need it. Not saved, not invested, not put away for a rainy day, not in a 1-year fixed account that you can't touch. You need to be able to access it within seconds if you need it.
So earn interest on it, but it needs to be instant access.
If you can earn interest on it, it's better. Okay. But put away, and don't put away too much. Figure out how, if you are an 18-year-old living at home and you don't have any expenses because your parents cover your life, you probably don't need 6 months of living expenses, right? You probably need maybe 1.
Yeah.
So figure it out for yourself. Account number 3, pensions. Don't roll your eyes at me, people. Please don't roll your eyes at me. Pensions are like wealth building tools. They are what make millionaires. The average person, I think right now, retires with something like just over £100,000. And I believe that the study is that if you want to have a comfortable retirement right now, you need closer to £500,000.
Oh, wow.
So 5 times lower than what you need. So don't leave it till too late. There are incredible tools. There are match schemes that work where they double your money. They come out of your pre-tax salary a lot of the time. There's different ways to do it. You can go beyond and open up SIPs, which is like you've got your workplace pension and a self-invested personal pension.
Shout out Hargreaves Lansdowne, not an ad.
There are so many places you can do this, right? You can type in best platform to this and read about a few of them. So that's the number 3. And then 4 and 5 are kind of mixed match. So your wife probably has number 4, which is a short-term savings account.
Yeah.
This is money that you want to put away for short-term goals you can see in less than 5 years. You want to buy a house in 3 years, that's where that money should go. Secure, you're building towards a certain number. You don't want it to be like invested because of the risks of going up and down. Secure, in 1 year's time, you want to have a honeymoon or a wedding or buy a car. Specific, measurable, tangible goals, short-term savings. And then the last one is long-term savings. And this is probably what your wife doesn't do. And this is money put away for, I like to say at least 5 years. Some people say at least 10 years. And this is money that I think should be invested. Mm-hmm. And this is the topic that's so underserved because it's money that you want to... So investing is brilliant because over the long term, it tends to produce and far outperform any savings account as well as inflation.
And that's the key thing, right? It needs to outstrip inflation because it not only retains your purchasing power, it actually gives you more bang for your buck.
Exactly. Inflation is basically the value of money over time, right? So the Bank of England want inflation to be 2%. We know during COVID, it was like at 10, 11%, which means that like the value of £100 essentially became 10% less. I probably butchered it. So if you study economics, whatever.
I got you.
Basically look at the price of a Freddo over the past 20 years and you'll understand inflation summarized very quickly. It was 10p, it ain't 10p today. Yeah. Things get more expensive. So you want to have long-term things where you can allow your money over time to grow. It could go up, it could go down, but hopefully utilizing the benefit of long amounts of time plus diversification, meaning you spread it across many different things. plus compound interest, meaning that it kind of ticks up and up and up and up and it increases in its pace. That's the benefit of investing over the long time. Those are the 5 key things you want to focus on. And it's important to do it because otherwise your money's not working hard for you. And you want your money working hard from you. You don't want it gathering dust. And at the very least, you don't want it being eaten by inflation just because you've sat it somewhere in a bank account that's only 1% interest.
And I think that's the key thing that people don't really understand that's happening. I think people look at their money in a bank account and they're like, it's safe. Like my £1,000 today is £1,000. But I think the key thing I wanted to get with that is that your purchasing power is actually going down.
Yep.
So in your example of the Freddos, let's say with £1,000 you could have got 2,000 Freddos. Now you can only get 1,800 Freddos. In 5 years' time, you might be only able to get 1,500 Freddos. Still a lot of Freddos, but it's not as many Freddos as you should be able to have.
Life getting more expensive, isn't it? Life just gets more and more expensive. It's not a feeling, it's a fact. Life gets more expensive. The cost of a house, 50 years ago was like the average cost in this country was probably less than 100 grand.
Yeah.
Now the average cost is closer to 400 grand or 300 grand. So things get more expensive over time. And like you mentioned, people think money is safe, like tucked away in a bank account because it's in a bank account, right? My money is safe. It's earning, 1% interest. Does that help you when inflation currently, the latest figures that just came out, I think were 3.8%, which basically means if you're earning anything less than 3.8% over the past year, your money has gone down in value in terms of how much it can buy you, its purchasing power, which is why in the short term, that's why I say you don't want to invest your money because there are risks involved with investing. But over the long term, our goal here is to not just outperform inflation, but to smash it out the park.
Yeah.
And you want your money to grow, right?
Yeah, you do. I'm going to talk, we're probably going to do some overlap here, but I have to bring this up now just because I've been devouring your content in prep for this episode.
I'm so sorry.
And the thing that has stuck out to me is people's approach to renting or the main one was around renting or things that couples
finances
need to make together to I'm going to share this with all my married friends, all my friends in relationships. What are the key things couples should be doing together?
Yeah. So I think the piece of content that you're referring to, and it's caused mass debate online, is renting as a couple. Do you split proportionally according to how much you're earning, or do you split down the middle? You're both sharing the same place, so surely you both put in the same contribution amount.
That's one of them.
And it's caused huge arguments online between people being like, of course you would do it proportionally versus of course you split it 50-50. And I don't make that video to tell people that one way or the other is correct. You asked me what's the best advice for couples when it comes to their finances. And the most important thing that I wanted people to get out of that video is you need to just have the conversation.
Yeah.
There are a lot of couples that tread on eggshells around the topic of money, and there's a reason why most divorces are probably caused by money. That's not a stat that I can confirm, but I'm fairly certain that a quick Google will prove me right on that one. Because money is stressful, right? And if you don't talk about it and get it out in the open, it just causes more and more tension. So the reason why I bring up this conversation about rent is that I don't care if you're doing it one way or the other, as long as you've made the active decision together. You've sat down and you've decided, okay, we are going to go proportionally because of X, Y, Z, and we're both fine with it. That's great. You've sorted it out. You've had that conversation with your couple. And that is something that I think people, maybe not the first date, but if you're in a serious relationship with someone, they should know how much you're earning. They should know if you've got any debts. They should know your assets, your liabilities, all that kind of stuff. That needs to be out in the open because what's the point of having these things hidden when it's just going to come out at some point? So what I like to do, and again, I'm not perfect when it comes to this kind of stuff, but I like to at least have in the diary, and we used to do this more, we don't do it so much anymore, me and my wife, but a money date. Once a month, you sit down and you either have a quick conversation about money or you look at last month's finances and all that kind of stuff. Because what that allows you to do is it's in the diary, so it's not awkward. I don't have to go up to my missus. She hates when I call it my missus. I don't have to go up to my wife.
Wife.
and say can we talk about money now? It's in the diary. We know when it's coming. We're comfortable. We know how it's gonna work. And so doing that at an active frequency will transform your relationship because at least you're having open conversations and you're making decisions together. That's the important part.
I love it. What is the biggest mistake people are making with their finances?
Oh, so many to choose from. The biggest mistake people are making with their finances. Okay, this is one I hear time and time again. It's, oh, I can't save because. Oh, I can't save because I don't make enough money. Oh, I can't save because it's not worth it. I'd have nothing to save towards. I can't save because I'm not good with money. I can't save because I don't know how. Now, don't get me wrong. There are plenty of people in this country that cannot save. They quite literally are living in poverty. They're living well below the breadline. Like, I 100% understand that. But I'm assuming for a lot of your listeners, might be an assumption here, but for a lot of people, if you're earning, if you're doing fine, like you're making by in life, you can save.
Yeah.
And what I mean by can save, before you shout at me and be like, what, dickhead? Is that save £1. Prove to me you can't save by putting away £1 in your bank account and don't touch it this month. I don't care. Well done. Now you're saving. Like that. That's it. No more excuses anymore. I don't know where to save. I don't care what you say. Put it in your bank account. Open up a Monzo or a Revolut that takes 7 seconds to do.
They're doing like a challenge where it's like you start 1p, 2p, 3p, 4p,
yeah.
5p.
Turn on those apps that round up your change every month. So when you spend £4.63, they put 37p. That was quick maths, by the way. Yeah. in your bank account, they round it up to the nearest pound. Like, you can save. You're just choosing not to. And the only way you can become a saver, because if you say, oh, I'm not really a saver, like that's not like, I never grew up with it. It's not my personality. Well, make it your personality. Yeah. And start really small. And what you do is, like, let's say, I always say to people, start that as early as possible, because what you'll do is you'll compound a habit. And after a year of saving, £1, and then the next month you're like, oh, you know what? I could maybe try £10 this month, and then £20 the month after, and then 30. All of a sudden you'll realize that, oh, I can actually save. So let's say you're someone that says, I can't save because I don't earn enough, but maybe you could put away £1 or £10. Put away that now. Like, start the habit now, so that when you are earning the money that you want to be earning one day, the habit is there and you're good to go. So that's the biggest mistake. Like, it's that people say something about themselves and they make it, they say it into reality.
Yeah.
When it's just not true. You can start saving with £1.
I love it. And this might be similar, but I'm going to say it's parallel. Like, are there any like myths that you see on social media about money? So yeah, people think that they can't save. Are there any other myths where you're like, that's just not true?
Oh, myths. Like, yeah, there's a lot of financial misinformation online. I did have something on the top of my head that I really wanted to say, and then I took myself out of it for a second. But okay, financial myth, and this one, it might be a little bit kind of controversial, but being good with money is really easy. That's not the myth, by the way. That's true.
Yeah.
People say, the myth is that people say, oh, finances are really hard. Like, it's really hard to be good with personal finance or to understand what to do. The truth is, what I'm teaching through personal finance, I kind of say a lot of the same stuff again and again and again, because personal finance, and sorry, I used the wrong words before. Personal finance is really simple. There aren't a lot of steps to it. I spoke to you before about living within your means. Mm. If you covered that, you basically have covered most of financial education. The little nuances, like how to save, best saving accounts, what to do with your pension, where to invest your money, stocks and shares, ISAs, lifetime ISAs, getting money into mortgages and all that. Those are all kind of like the nuances, the little things off the side of it. But essentially, if you can earn money and spend less than you make, you've basically got personal finance 101 sorted. It is really that simple.
It's a bit like losing weight, right?
If
you consume less calories,
then you take in,
you will lose weight. Yeah.
I promise you, it's honestly great, but so many people can't do it, right? Because whilst they understand the logic behind it, it's not actually that easy to do. So when I said finances is easy, I lied. Finances are simple. Personal finance is really simple. But they are difficult. And what I mean by difficult is it takes a long time to generate the right habits, to break all the excuses you have in your head, all the impulse shopping, the Amazon Prime. Like, all these companies are basically there to take your money from you and to make it as easy as possible. Klarna, buy now, pay later. You can do it on Deliveroo these days. Like, everything is designed to make you spend your money, which means it's really hard, because these are some of the best algorithms, the best software engineers, the best psychologists. They're all there designed to take your money away from you. The same way that the algorithms on social media platforms are designed by the biggest geniuses in the world to steal your time from you. So it's actually really easy. It just takes a little bit of effort over a long period of time to become good with money. So when someone looks at me and they goes, I'm bad with money. No, you're not. Like, no, you're not bad with money.
Yeah.
You're not bad with money. You just haven't put in the practice over a long enough period of time to transform it into a way that's good. And you never taught it. So I get it. Yeah. But personal finance is really simple. And that's a thing that I would love for more people to be aware of.
And that brings us nicely into your social media. Look at that segue. Come on. So yeah, like obviously you mentioned at the start, you've been posting for, 5 years on TikTok, shall we say, and you've managed to amass this amazing audience. Have there been any like specific tactics that you've used to help, drive up your follower count?
I'll say the boring one that everyone hears online, but if you don't repeat it enough times, most people don't listen to it. Consistency. Like, no offense, but if you're posting once every 6 months,
what does consistency look like for you?
For me, it looks like, well, it's not so good at the moment.
Let's go back. When you were building.
I was posting on TikTok 5 days a week, every week, with no excuses for 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, just no excuses. Consistent. And every time I posted, I did something a little bit better. A little bit of a cut, changed something, experimented. Better doesn't always mean that it ends up with better results. Better means that like you're trying to improve on each one. Focusing on my output, not on whatever was coming back through views. Like I was really focusing on that level of consistency, because that is the only way to grow these days. And your consistency could be, I can post once a week on a Sunday. Fine, great. You'll do it all the time. Build that habit. I'd rather you posted 3 times a week, every week, than 5 times a week, and then stopped for every 4 weeks. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Much, much better to do it that way. So that is the magic ingredient. But then the other one that I would tell people when they're trying to like figure out, well, what do I post about? Like, how do I figure out and how do I get good at it? There's a few things. Number one is you're not going to be good at it. No offense, mate. Like, go back and watch my first 100 videos. They are awful, but I had to get them out of the way. You got to get them out of the way. Right. Ali Abdaal, one of my favorite creators on the internet, told me this. He's like, you have to be fine. You're going to produce 100 bad pieces of content. Yeah. And until you can do that, you're never going to produce a good piece of content. So that is like something you have to get into your psyche. But then if we're getting a little bit more strategic with how to make good content, what I like to tell people is everything already exists online. That idea you have, nothing's original. There's a great book. I can't remember the artist, but it's the author, but it's called Still Like an Artist. Yeah. And it's Austin Kleon, Still Like an Artist. And it's this idea that like you can steal things from other people creatively, but you have to kind of do it like in a good way. And what I mean by that is I might look at this show right now when I want to build a show one day like this, be like, I really like the way you've done this. I'm going to steal that ingredient. And I'm watching another show or another TikTok or another YouTuber. I really like the way they've done this. Take that ingredient. I like the way they've done that. And you take all of that and you combine it, but with your personality and your information that you want to share through it, it becomes its own original piece of content all over again. Yeah. And that is the way to kind of get into it and figure out who and how you want to create about. That's why I say that everything's already been created. Take inspiration from the places that you like to see and put that into your content. Like my most famous style on the internet is me doing these conversations where I kind of talk to myself.
I was going to get onto it.
Yeah.
Do they have names, your characters?
Oh yeah, you got Steve and Gary. No, I've got no idea, mate.
I feel like I know Steve and Gary. I'm about to sound like they're my boys, man.
Steve and Gary, mate, honestly. You put me into some kind of asylum, won't you? Oh dear. So currently you're talking to Steve. Yeah. Anyway, they didn't come from me one day and go, do you know what would be a great idea if I talk to myself? No, like I was scrolling one day looking for inspiration and I saw this guy, I can't even remember what he was talking about, but he was essentially doing a back and forth head conversation on a completely irrelevant topic, nothing to do with money. And it wasn't even that like good, but like this video had tens, if not hundreds of thousands of views. And I was like, this style seems to be something that people really resonate with. Yeah. I wonder if it works for my content. And guess what?
It slapped.
It slapped.
I just want to actually double click into that.
Yeah, go on.
Because when I'm looking at your content, I was like, when you're filming it, are you just talking to no one or is there a prop? Because I'm like, if I wanted to start doing that as an example, like, how is it you actually go about doing it? Also, like, when I'm looking at your videos, sometimes you do it on the street and there's people walking past and like, if you're not talking to someone, like, do you just like fucking not care about people? And that's one of the things, right? You just can't care. You just got to focus on the content. So many questions there.
Yeah, like I've lost all my self-respect like a long time ago. Like I don't care anymore. I just like I don't. No, that's not true. It's still a bit nerve-wracking sometimes in doing stuff, but like, yeah, I've just built that muscle over a really long period of time.
So to confirm, there's no one there. There's no prop.
No,
or
Steve.
anything?
No, when I record those scripts, there's nothing. I like. It was stressful. I used to like shut my wife out the room. Do you not coming in here? I'm talking to myself for a while. Just leave me alone. And yeah, I just shoot. Like I would literally like sit up like this, pretend there's someone there in my vision, and just deliver the line.
But are you delivering it one line at a time? Because obviously it's a conversation. Or are you delivering that person's whole conversation?
So a lot of people think that like I've got like 2 cameras set up, and I go, oh hey mate, change seats up. Oh, another one sitting the other way. Yo, how's it going? So those videos have to be scripted to perfection because I deliver all of one person's lines. So I'll say like every other line essentially, and then set up the camera the other direction, all that kind of stuff, or flip the screen around and deliver the other lines. And they have to obviously sync perfectly in line with one another. So those are very kind of, they are created like that. I've maximized efficiency. Sometimes I'll go and I'll have like 10 video scripts I have to do, and I'll just do one character of 10 scripts in a row. And then there's been the odd occasion where for some reason I've changed the wording and I've gone to edit the videos up and I've been like, oh mate, those videos do not go together. Yeah. Like I got to just remove that altogether. So that is how I do it. I now do it out in public. People think I'm crazy, but I'm just used to it. But that is I'm sorry. It's like, what's it called? Like revealing behind the curtain.
Yeah,
right?
No, but this is what I want to do.
I'm so sorry, guys.
There's
no one else there. That is literally how I do it, and I try and make it as efficient.
He does have a twin, but the twin isn't there when he's recording.
The twin is somewhere else.
Yeah, no. I love it, and I think like you have to like. I wanted to paint that reality, and then in terms of like I always ask this. Being natural in front of the camera. I know you're going to say it comes with reps, but when I'm trying to do direct-to-camera stuff, and you can give me some advice, I just feel like I don't sound natural. Like, how is it you have built? Like, what are the strategies you can use to come across as natural as possible?
Should we like do a live
No.
Have you speak to the camera? Do you know what? I'm still not natural. I'm still not 100% natural. I probably do have a little bit of a wave of a persona that comes over me when I talk to a camera. Not quite like, oh, hello. Like, but
that's exactly how mine is.
I've kind of toned it down. But at the same time, like, there definitely is more energy when I talk and do a recording. My voice probably changes its tone and all that kind of stuff. But I don't want to just give like the standard thing, which is like repetition. The best thing that like you can do, and I sometimes have to remind myself of this, is that you have to talk as if like you're talking to someone. So I kind of look through the camera and just imagine like I'm talking to a mate. And so I'll do a take occasionally and I'm like looking over there because this is like the camera's over there, but normally I look past the camera. But if I'm looking at the camera, sometimes I'll be like, today I want to talk to you about 3 things that, and I like go like, that sounded really stupid. I need to start again. I'll be like, so mate, like, and I'll start with like, so mate, like, as if like I'm saying it like that. And then by making my language a bit more casual and starting it before I even get to my script line with a few words before, I can make it sound a bit better. Yeah. And there are several takes. Like it still takes me a while to get it through, but that's kind of like the tip. You want to talk as if you're talking to someone behind the camera, but just with a little bit more energy than social norms would allow you to be. Like if I was talking to you like this, and then we went to the pub and carried on talking like this, people would be like, why do those 2 guys sound like they're trying to record a podcast together? Like, it is a little bit of a different style of conversation. It has to be.
No, but there's a big takeaway for me there. Look past the camera, right? And then start a little bit before. Yes, I'm going to do that because even like I'm going to film like an intro for this. I find the intro so hard, and I do a lot of takes, but I'm just like, when I listen to myself back, I think there is a training you need to do. Like you are not going to like your own voice, and you have to overcome that and just do it anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway, last couple of tactical things, right? Posting times, hashtags. Do they actually matter?
You want a quick answer?
Give me whatever answer you want to give. No. They don't matter.
No. Good quality content. That's it.
Good quality content.
I mean, like, I post at the same time every day. I use the same hashtags. Genuinely, if you've got a world-beating piece of content, it will be the best hashtags posted time in the world. Like the algorithm will find an audience these days.
Yeah.
So if your content is good, the rest don't matter.
I love it. And do you know something I'm starting to realize as well? It's when you stop thinking like, this is the post that's gonna fucking break the record, because it's those posts that never, you put too much emphasis on it. It's the ones that I edit quickly and just throw up that always outperform.
But every creator will tell you the same thing, and people don't get it into their mind because they associate effort with result, because that is normal life. Social media is not normal life, because there is someone else on the other side of that phone, on that camera, who decides whether or not a piece of content is good, and you cannot predict that. So yeah, there are some that I kind of know will do all right, blah, blah, blah. But like you said, pieces of content that have taken me 5 minutes to think of and 6 minutes to film and posted and up like that have been some of my best performing pieces of content.
I love it. And then in terms of like ideation, right? I know you've mentioned pulling from different places. How is it you stay creatively fresh with the content you're producing?
Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest skills that I've developed over time, because I've been creating content for 5 years and I'm having to like I told you, there's not a lot of stuff in the financial world. Like I have to like redress things up in many, many different ways. So for me, if we're going to get strategic here, I kind of look at a few things. Number one, for me, I'll talk about money. Money is obviously a very relevant topic. What's going on in the news? What articles, interesting bits of research that I can just pull on and be inspired by? The second thing is what else is being created out there, what's relevant, what are people talking about on the internet, a few searches, a bit of TikTok, look at the most liked videos at the moment. I'd for sure take inspiration from that. Like, why not? Number three is my best pieces of content. So what have I already spoken about that's doing really well? Can I dive into some sub niches of that? Can I repeat some topics? Can I explain things better? So that's already 3 places that I can take good content and ideas and inspiration from. Number 4 is genuinely like, what am I interested in? Like, what topics have I grown to be interested in? What have I just read recently? Or what have I never really thought about? What have I heard through a friend's conversation? The whole thing about splitting the bill with mates literally came because I had a conversation with mates and we were talking about it, and I wrote the idea down on my phone off the back of that, because like, this is a real life financial conversation going on. So that would be like, out of all of those things, a lot of your ideas are just going to come from you coming up with them. Have a way to capture ideas wherever you are in the world. If it's the notes app on your phone, it doesn't really matter, because the best ideas will come to you as you're about to fall asleep.
Yeah. So just plop the phone up, notes.
You got to write it down, because otherwise you'll forget it, right? So if you're, let's say, once a week, I do my filming, let's say once every other week. I could probably come up with like 40, 50 ideas if I had a better way of capturing my ideas, because I'll be saying something in this conversation right now and I'll be like, oh, that's a really good video. Like, I should really think about that as a video. And I just shouldn't, you just want to have a way to capture it all. And then when you go to write your videos or script or put them into a bit more detail, you should be picking from like a bank of like 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 ideas that you're going to pull a few out of for this time.
Okay, I love it. And then in terms of your process, right, you've just kind of touched upon it there. You get your 50 ideas. How long does it take you to do a script? And then are you filming, let's say, 2 weeks worth of content on a content day? Are you filming and then just posting?
Yeah, this is where my inner engineer comes out of me, because I love efficiency.
Okay.
Like I love set my camera up once, film 10 videos, and I don't have to touch. Like, people are surprised when I say me and a camera, probably maybe 5 to 10% of my job. Because most of it comes from the ideation, the scripting, the negotiating, the partnerships, the business side of things. Like, a lot of it isn't this part, talking to a camera. I could probably film 10 videos in 2 hours, and that's my content for 2 weeks. The rest of the work, the heavy lifting, comes around it. So yeah, my process is I try and batch as much content as I can. Scripting a video, if let's say it's a conversation one, will either take me 30 seconds or 30 minutes, depending on how long I'm sat there with my fingers hovering above the keyboard. But I basically write it like as if I'm having a conversation with a mate. So I'll write like, hey mate, and I'll like be saying it out loud as I'm typing the script, because I'll basically be having that conversation out loud, which is weird to watch if you're watching me from behind. But in a room on my own, it's quite normal.
Steve, long time.
But like, those are the videos that are scripted word for word, right? Then there are videos that are like a bit more bullet pointy. If I'm speaking direct to a camera, I want to sound natural, normal, so I will not write it word for word. But some people like it like that. I personally don't, so I go bullet points. So let's say like I can write a video probably in about 10 to 20 minutes, films in about 5 minutes. Because for me, the more heavy lifting you do up front, the more preparation. I mean, you're sat there with your iPad, you've got your questions ready, you know exactly your sections, all that kind of stuff. The more you do beforehand, the less you have to do after.
100%. And then, sorry. And then just to finish that off, you film everything on a day. Are you editing it on a day? Does it take a long time to edit?
I'm bougie.
Okay.
I have editors.
Oh, okay. Outsourced.
You know what? I liked editing. I know I edited all my content for 2 years. Because I think you should do everything at the start to learn what you're good at, what you're not good at. You should know how to do anything. Also, it means that if I ever need to do something quickly, I can chuck it into a software because I know how to edit. But for me, where was my most time being consumed from versus lack of like reward? And it was the editing process. It's so time consuming.
100%.
So I will ship that all off to my editors. We'll have a bit of back and forth. They'll send me in batches. I'll give them feedback, back and forth. And then we'll put it up there. I don't overthink it too much.
I love it.
Just post the video.
I love it. And just, we're all about giving advice, right? So to anybody who is, maybe looking to optimize their process, like what would your advice be to them?
To optimize your process, just fix one thing now. And this is like the funny thing about these podcasts or coming on these things is often I'm talking to myself. Yeah. So I'm always trying to optimize my process and then nothing ever gets optimized because I'm trying to do too many things at once. I'm trying to, perfect my like idea capturing, like whatever it is, whilst also trying to perfect my communication with my editors, whilst also trying to make sure I can create more content. Like I'm trying to spin too many plates. But if I just for 1 week focused on just improving the way that I capture my ideas, I would probably have that sorted within 1 week.
Yeah.
So if you are someone trying to do that, just focus on one thing. And AI. ChatGPT, man.
Do you know what it's like? It's have you ever seen the post like, I wonder how they saved $100,000? It's like I woke up at 5 a.m. I went to the gym. I set up a budget, and then my dad gave me $100,000. It's like, I'll do anything. AI, ChatGPT. Nah.
This has all been a myth. I do nothing. Someone does it all for me.
No, but I think AI is like amazing, and what I've learned about it is that it just helps to amplify who you are. So to anybody who is looking to develop bits of content, like what I do with this podcast, for example, I will get a transcript on Riverside, and then once I get a transcript, I feed it into Perplexity. Then I just have conversations. So what I'll do when this eventually comes out, I'll be like, what are some of the lessons that I can take away from my chat with Gabriel? It'll give me the lessons, and then if I like them, I'll make it sound like my own, and then that's pieces of content. And then you can record short form, you can do this, you can do that, you can clip it up. But AI, it just supercharges like who you are, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's good. I would say that I'm a complete novice with it, but I'm still utilizing it so much. Even if it's as simple as just using a bit of ChatGPT to help you. I wouldn't ever get it to write anything I do, but I get it to give me feedback, to kind of give me a few different hooks and ideas and openers. I know that people are saying like it's swallowing people's creativity, and you still kind of need to not be on AI to stand out and be a cut above the rest. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't use it for, like you said, for everything else. Flushing out that idea, talking to it on a voice note for 20 minutes to just rant and get something concise and solidified, because that's what it's so good at. Yeah. I'm still learning. Don't get me wrong, I'm still completely learning. But like your example was unbelievable there.
Yeah. With everything that you're doing on social media, like what is your approach to nurturing your community, right? Because some of your posts get millions of views, thousands of comments. How is it you keep on top of everything?
I don't. If you want me to be real with you, I don't. Things slip all the time. One of the biggest things that is really hard is when you do grow. This is like such a first world problem, but as you grow really big, it's really hard to kind of stay with that core audience. Reply to every comment, respond to every DM. Like I still strive to. By the way, like this is to anyone DMing me. Like I still try and see every single one and try to respond to every single one. It's just really hard. Stop asking me what stocks to buy. I cannot tell you. It is financial advice. I probably haven't responded to that one because I can't. Yeah. But yeah, like how do I nurture? I try and respond to as many comments as I can. But the truth is the best way for me to kind of stay with my community and nurture them is by making sure my content is relevant, by listening to the comments, reading them, and making sure that I'm actually delivering what people want to hear, and not necessarily what I think people want to hear.
Yeah.
And just continuously trying to give as much free value as I can. I'm not going to lie, there are creators who are much better at engaging their community. They build communities, offline. They build memberships. They do all that kind of stuff. Like for me, I just want to deliver as much free content as possible. And if I can answer your questions as well whilst I'm at it, I absolutely will strive to do that. But at this point in time, like I said, I can't balance it all.
Do you get much negative backlash on videos?
Not hugely. People sometimes tell me that I look like Wallace from Wallace and Gromit. I think it's something to do with the ears. So that's a little bit harsh, but not too much negativity. I mean, people might disagree with my ideas and dislike my videos, which I'm absolutely fine with. But like, I've also, just because I've done it for so long, like thick skin.
Yeah.
So you can say what you want, but it probably won't get through to me, to be honest. Yeah. There's also a lot of comments sometimes, so I try to just like read the good ones.
Yeah, I hear that. And then obviously, like you said, you're giving out a lot of free content, but that takes us into like the monetization aspect, right? I've heard you on other podcasts, and you've previously spoken about how much you used to earn for some brand deals and stuff like that. But I suppose, if we talk about the business of content, as somebody who's generating millions of views, how much? What's the range that you can earn directly from a platform? We'll start with first of all.
I don't make the most from in-platform like AdSense. I think if people know what that is, it's like the way that like YouTube or TikTok pay you, because I'm not putting out a huge volume of content. So if you're putting out, loads of like 3-4 videos a day, getting 500,000 views on all of them, you could make some serious money off of that. But because I don't do that, don't get me wrong, it's gone up recently. Like I'd say maybe across all platforms, it could actually now be close to like £1,000 a month. Okay. But like that's because I think TikTok have recently upped the amount that they're paying creators. Whereas before I was probably making maybe like 200 quid, 300 quid a month just from in-platform. So not a huge amount, because short form content doesn't naturally pay that well. There are platforms like Snapchat and Facebook that are starting to do like really good in terms of monetization, but I've never been too focused on that. Maybe being a bad entrepreneur, but again, you can't do it all, right? So that's the in-app kind of payment, but that's not where I make most of my money.
That's probably from the brand deals, etc., etc. I don't need you to give specifics, but how is it you go about securing brand deals now? This is your full-time gig.
Yeah, so brand deals are obviously really important to me. It allows me to essentially keep all of my content free, because the company will pay me to create content dedicated with them. And there's a few kind of nuances to say off the back of that. Is like, number one, like I understand there are better business models that, like, for example, you can monetize your community and monetize your audience. But at this stage of my career, I'm kind of steering away from that, because I don't know, I once said out loud, like, how would I ask someone to pay me to save them money? Like, to teach them how to save money, but pay me to do that. Yeah. Like, there are ways, if I can go into niche areas of financial education, I'm sure if I gave enough value, you can charge for it. But right now, my objective is to deliver as much free education as I can. The way I work with brands is that they have to tick like 3 buckets for me. They have to, number one, be relevant. I'm not going to be talking about, well, maybe you'll see me like I do a Coke advert one day, but not that kind. Diet
which
Coke.
One?
Not the regular stuff. The regular Coke is, don't drink that. At least Coke Zero. Yeah. But at the moment, I try and make sure that the brands I work with are super relevant to my audience. They're the content that I'm, making anyway. Number 2 is my due diligence. So yeah, okay, great, you're very relevant, but something doesn't feel right. I don't think you're the right kind of company, maybe level. I don't think that you're like at the top of the game. So would I really recommend you, kind of thing? Yeah. So it's important for me to kind of like keep that trust in my audience. And then number 3 is, and if they tick the third bucket, it's the easiest yes as ever, is, do I currently use you? Do I currently talk about you? Like, would I currently talk about you? Because if I'm doing that on top, it's the easiest yes, and it's the easiest partnership to build together. So if they kind of tick those 3, then it makes it a very easy yes to work with those brands. And then for me, the reason why I like working with the brands is because I give a lot of like advice, but the companies that I then promote are the practical places you can go and implement the advice I'm giving. So it actually works really nicely for my audience. And that's why like those companies that I do end up saying yes to, my audience naturally quite like working with them or listening from them. But I really like when me and a brand can like work together on a long-term partnership, because that is where I see like they get the most benefit because I'm constantly talking about them. I get the most benefit because like I don't have to be speaking about bank A on one week and then bank B on another week, and my audience are confused. And then that is obviously my overall key thing that I always focus on is my audience. Like they are like my baby. They're precious to me. So I need to like protect them from like making the right decisions with companies and then delivering the right information to them as well. So my goal overall is, are the audience really benefiting from what I'm saying? And normally with a long-term partnership, it allows the audience to really benefit because they really can hear all the values and the benefits from using that company.
I love it. And then obviously you've been in the game a while. Like, what have you learned about working with brands over like that period of time? And is there anything that if you were just starting out again, you'd be like, you should be on the lookout for this when you're about to agree to a deal or not?
Well, yeah, read your contracts, people. Like, read your contracts. Things like exclusivity, usage rights, paid usage. Like I've made all of those mistakes. Thankfully, they haven't had detrimental effects. But like, if you give a brand usage and you sign on it, they can go and do what they want with it. I mean, if you make a mistake and you ask them, maybe that'll be nice.
What's the impact of giving away your usage, just so I'm clear on
Well, like, for example, paid usage, yeah? If a brand says we want paid usage as much as you want, blah, 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 they can then put as much pay behind you having worked with them indefinitely, more or less.
As in for any content you create?
No, for the piece of content you create with them.
Yeah.
And what that then means is, yeah, it might have been a great piece of content that you're really proud with, but the brand can then reuse it again and again and again. And let's say down the line, your brand shifts and changes and you don't really associate with that brand, they can use it again. It's within their rights. And also brands, it's great to work with brands, but if people are constantly just seeing you associated with adverts, it diminishes your kind of brand reputation, your audience's reputation with you. They lose trust with you. They think that you're just constantly doing ads. They just see you everywhere with ads. They want to see your organic content. That's how they build their trust with you. So that's why it's really important to just be aware of that. Exclusivity, for example, would be an issue if, let's say, you sign a year exclusivity with a company and then they're like, you love them, but you'd love to work with this other company that in their niche, and that other company approaches you, you're locked out of that.
Yeah.
And so like maybe a few months, fine, that makes sense because you don't want to confuse your audience, all that kind of stuff. But this other company goes to you, we want to work with you for the next 12 months. And you're like, I can't because I signed exclusivity on this 1 month campaign I did 12 months ago. So there's little things you have to think about in terms of red flags. But then like, yeah, as long as you're picking the right brand to work with and you're really certain, if there are any doubts, I would say don't work with that company. Like think about your long-term brand image over a short-term paycheck. Always. Again, the first time I ever got brand deals coming through my inbox 5 years ago, I was very excited and I probably said yes to far too many brands. Nowadays, I'm very picky. I want to work with a specific amount of brands, specific types of brands, specific amount, and I would like to work with them on a long-term partnership so I can give repeated information to my audience about the best in class within that niche and that I'm talking about organically.
I love it.
I know it's easier said than done, but that's the mindset you want to have as a creator.
I love it. And then just finally on that, like how important has it been having a manager? And like what does having a manager unlock for you?
Got to be careful here because I know you've had my manager on a previous episode.
Shout out
Jake, do not take anything I say for no, okay. So management is brilliant if you find the right one. There are so many creators. Okay, so what happened essentially is that we had this boom of short form creators in like 2020, 2021 around COVID time. TikTok all happened at the same time and everyone and their uncle became a content creator, right? So everyone thought, I'm a creator, I need an agent, right? And what's happened is you've had this huge boom of agencies that means that there's been a lot of bad agencies as well and people that don't need agents. And you've just seen this kind of like a lot of creators get messed around because they thought they needed an agent and then they're upset because all their agent really does is watch their inbox and then take, whatever percentage commission it is, 20%, 10%.
How can you, like, what is the level to know that you might need an agent then? I suppose might be a better question.
I would say like two things. So number one is, are you so overwhelmed that you cannot manage that side of your job as well? Like you just are struggling. There are so many companies that really want to work with you that like you just need someone else to sort it for you. It's just outsourcing, right? You're outsourcing to a professional. Number two is kind of your agent provides so much value that they make that worth in their commission, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So your agent is kind of, whatever they're taking, they're essentially adding onto your bottom line because they're that good at what they do. So it's kind of hard because it's nuanced, but I would say to any new creator out there, even if you're struggling, give it a year. Figure out how to negotiate, make all the mistakes, understand your contracts, understand how to do reach out and like manage your inbox. Do that all yourself. Like with my editor, do it all yourself before you start to give that to someone else. That's number one. Then number two is, just because you have a manager or an agent doesn't mean you're done with that side of the business anymore. Because ultimately, your manager probably represents a few people, unless you're like the biggest creators in the world, or you have like a one-to-one manager. But you're probably not. I'm not. My manager has other clients as well, right? And I have to care about my business as much as he does, because me doing outbound, me reaching out, me working on the pricing with him, me having constant conversations with him, me discussing with him strategy the whole time, uplifts us both together. And it just works in our favor. What the issue is that all these creators I was telling you through this boom, they probably just went, got a manager now, I'm going to be raking in the cash, right? And then nothing happened. And I'm like, what's going on? Why am I just paying him or her to watch my inbox for me? Because you just gave up and you weren't putting in the energy. So obviously their energy is going to match your energy, and they've got other things to do as well. So what you want to be doing is you want to be as on that side of your business as they are, if not more, than your manager. And you want to work as a team together. And that is kind of like the really key and important element if you are going to take management.
I love it. Yeah, well, this has been such a sick conversation. Just as we close out, like outside of the content, right? Like
Outside of content?
No.
There is no life outside of content.
But I'm going to say that. What other things are you focusing on, right? Because you were in Downing Street recently.
Yes.
I saw. Like, how does that come about? And yeah, like, how has content played a part in those kind of opportunities?
Yeah, creating content has been the best thing that's ever happened to me in my life, because it unlocks so many doors you didn't even know existed, especially when you do it for a really long period of time and you do it with all the good intentions. So like, I've been recently invited to Downing Street several times now. I've introduced the PM, like crazy things that I've been able to do off the back of it that I wouldn't know, like, have ever known. Like, I've been on news, I've been on like TV, I've been invited to like red carpets, things like that. Not that many, but like I've done a few. And
it's
like
one or two more than anyone.
Like,
yeah.
Crazy. I've worked on brand campaigns. I've gone to different countries with companies. Like, things that have happened to me just because I posted the first bloody video. And you just never know where these opportunities are going to come from. So like, outside of content, like what am I like focusing on? I don't know. Like, I guess my overall mission is starting to like leak outside of content now, because I've realized that I am having serious impact on the world as a whole, and other people are recognizing that. Like you mentioned, Downing Street, they're asking me like, okay, how do we work together to improve financial literacy? And I can actually now make an impact on a national scale, which is crazy. So I guess I'm just focusing on my mission and allowing that to open whatever opportunity it can do, whilst also trying to balance life and, you know, be a normal human being and relax and have fun with it all at the same time. So yeah, not really concentrating on much, just trying to make as much impact as I can through whichever medium I can.
I love it. Gabriel, we are about to round out. Like, where do you see yourself, the Money Guy brand, in the next 5 and 10 years?
Great question. I don't know.
Oh, love it. Very honest answer. And that's fair. Just take every day as it comes.
The thing is I'm in such an evolving industry, right? That I didn't know, like, the industry's going to look so different in 5 years than what it looks like today. So I barely know I kind of maybe have like short goals, but everyone's like, what are you going to do in 5 years? I didn't know 5 years ago that I was even going to make a video and put it on the internet, let alone like be where I am today. So yeah, I would love to have made a larger impact on more people around financial education, and also grow my business, because like that's my you know, it's my income source and all that kind of stuff. That's it. And also just be having fun. So like impact, fun, and business. Like that's kind of like the 3 really big goals. And as long as I'm still living and growing and all that kind of stuff, then I'm happy. But yeah, I don't know what I'm having for breakfast tomorrow, man. Let alone 5 years. 5 years. If the world even exists now, Jay.
No, hey, it might not, but but let's not get into
See the weather this summer?
Yeah. All right, Gabriel, we do have a quick fire round. Are you ready?
Let me put my can down. Let me stretch.
It might not be so quick. I'm just looking at the questions, but here we go. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
What's the worst money advice you've ever heard?
That's not quick at all. The worst money advice I ever heard.
Yeah, don't be quick. Say whatever.
Okay, no. I've got this so easily. It's like, just save your money. Money is there to be spent as well. You need to have fun today as well as tomorrow.
I love it. One thing you wish you learned about money earlier?
Investing and pensions.
I love it. We've already said that one, so I'm going to skip. One thing every school should teach about money?
Just budgeting. It's boring, but school is there to teach you boring things. So budgeting, it's a horrible word, but you need to know how to do it.
What's the most overhyped personal finance trend at the moment?
Anything to do with like trading and quick wins, like anything like that doesn't exist.
Okay.
Everything exists,
to be true.
But, you know
it probably is. I love it. If you could make one finance law for the UK, what would it be?
Lock people in an armchair until they know how to manage their money.
Okay, I love it. And then, like, switching gears, what's one thing creators get wrong about audience building?
That they know best. Audience knows best always.
I love it. Best piece of advice you've ever received from another creator?
Don't stop.
I love it. And then, if you could have dinner with any entrepreneurial creator, who would it be?
Ali Abdaal. And I have. Not dinner, but I kind of have, to be fair. But yeah, he's the guy that inspired a lot of my content creation journey. So yeah,
Ali, if you're watching, if you ever watch, hey, invite me as well.
Yeah.
Because I want us to do it as well. But no, Gabriel, this has been such a sick conversation. We do have a closing tradition. With everything that you've been through, like knowing what you know now, what advice would you give your younger self?
Oh, I like that. Like, should I like look down camera one and like stare into like 18-year-old me? Like, so, I feel like life is kind of like messy, but that's fine. So like I would tell my younger self, like, you don't have to know what that kind of next stage is going to be. You don't have to know where your career is going to go. You don't have to have everything perfectly predicted. Especially like when you are young, take risk, learn as much shit as possible, and have fun all at the same time. And that way you'll live a good life.
There you have it. Gabriel, where can people find you, my bro?
Everywhere, which is probably the issue. I'm on all your social media platforms. Just look up Gabriel, that money guy. You'll see my smiley face. Watch me until you're bored of me.
Love it, love it. And to the listener, if you've gotten to this point in the show, you know what to do. Make sure to like, share, comment. Look, we've had the money guy on. Who do you want to hear from next? Please let us know at WMBFD Pod. And with that, that is another episode of What My Best Friend Does. If you didn't know, now you know. Now go and take some immediate action.